in the dust of the earth, Solomon became king for 40 years. 120 years the kingdom was united. But you know, Harlem, during the lifetime of King Solomon, God warned Solomon, stay away from the 7 heathen nations. Stay away from the Hittites and the Hivites and the Jebusites and the Amorites and the Hivites and the Canaanites and the Moabites. Stay away from those heathen nations. But old Solomon did not comply. He married strange women from those heathen tribes. And not only did he marry them, but he allowed them to build high places of worship. And they started worshiping Chemosh, who was the principal god of the Phoenicians and the Sidonians. And he started worshiping Milcom, who was a pagan god. And God got fed up, and God said in 1 Kings chapter 11, I'm going to rend the kingdom out of Solomon's hand, but I'm not going to do it in Solomon's day. For his father David's sake, I'm going to rend the kingdom out of Solomon's hand in the time of his son Jeroboam. And so he rend the kingdom. And when he told the kingdom, 10 tribes went to the north and became known as the northern kingdom, or Israel. And 2 tribes went to the south and became known as Judah, or the southern kingdom. But they did not obey God. They did not keep God's word and honor God's truth. So in 722 BC, the Assyrians rose to world power, and they stormed into Jerusalem and took the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom off into Assyrian captivity. And after the time when the Syrians were in world power, then in 587 BC, the Babylonians rose to worldwide power, and they conquered the Assyrians, and they stormed into Jerusalem, and they took captive the southern kingdom, the 2 tribes called Judah, 10 tribes in captive in Syria, and 2 tribes in captive in Babylon. But then in 539 BC, a fellow by the name of Cyrus the Great issued an edict and decided that a remnant of the Jews could go back to Jerusalem. Why are the tribes scattered? 10 of them in Assyrian captivity, 2 of them in Babylonian captivity. A remnant of them have gone back to Judah. No more 12 monarchical tribes, no more 12 tribes under one monarchical rule. They've been scattered, some in Assyria, some in Babylon, some in Jerusalem. They're scattered everywhere. So when James wrote, he wrote to the 12 tribes which are scattered. But hold it. He could not have been merely talking to Jewish Israel, because verse 2 and the first word starts out, my brethren. So he's not talking to physical Israel. He's talking to the Jews that had been scattered abroad but were baptized for the remission of sins and became a member of the Church of Christ. So my brethren, he's talking to my brethren. And another thing, y'all gonna have to come and get your preacher. If I have to walk down 125th Street one more time to see some man standing up in a clown suit trying to tell me that he is a black Hebrew Israelite. I stopped by Harlem to tell you, Ain't no salvation in culture. And there is no salvation in color. Salvation is in Jesus Christ. And another thing, you better learn who the real Jews are. America does not know who the real Jews get from me. Romans chapter 2 and verse 28. Romans 2 and 28. They don't know who the real Jews